can't say we've had one from Geelong before, so
Mm.
they've got a good footy team, but let's see how good this bloke is. But
Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
g'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie. Once again, joined by my co-host, Joe. Good morning, mate.
Good morning. How are you, mate?
Good. Flat out up there.
Yeah. Keeping real busy and a bit more dry this time, which is nice. Not in my gumboots today,
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
but it's been good. Detailing, all that is going really well. So yeah,
Yep.
we got a really good guest today.
Yeah, another good one. We sort of know this guy around a little bit already, so I've hung out with him a little bit, had a few beers with him, so yeah,
Yes.
another one. And probably can't say we've had one from Geelong before, so
Mm.
they've got a good footy team, but let's see how good this bloke is. But yeah, so good morning, Brad from Studio Protect. How you going?
Hey,
Morning,
Brad.
guys. Very well, Joe.
Good. How's things down Geelong?
Going well. We do have a very good footy team. Hopefully, they go a little bit further this year.
Yeah, I'm not biased much, but yeah, should be good. So
I see a lot of your comments about them.
yeah. No, I'm a big fan. So yeah, no, I don't think we've had anyone from Geelong area. I think we had Ballarat, but yeah, that was been
Yeah, I
close.
remember the Ballarat one. Yeah,
Yeah. So
How do you explain to people where Geelong is? Because people probably just think Melbourne, but
yeah. I usually just say about an hour south of Melbourne,
yeah, okay,
and then
right,
everyone knows where Melbourne is.
yeah,
So we're just outside it, really.
mm.
it's nearly a suburb now of Melbourne.
Oh, I reckon in another 10 or 15 years it'll be almost attached.
Yeah, it's crazy down there. Very popular.
It's getting bigger, actually. Yeah, I noticed like probably in the last few years, like the traffic has really ramped up.
And
There's a lot.
is there anything people would go to Melbourne for apart from work? Like, is Geelong pretty self-sufficient?
Pretty well, yes.
Yeah.
There are still a lot of people that travel to Melbourne, but there are also a lot of people that travel from Melbourne and like your Point Cooks and your Werribes, and they travel down this way as well.
Okay, cool.
No, it's a
Mm.
nice area down Melbourne. I mean Geelong, so it's a good area. Everything surrounding it. So yeah. Oh, Studio Protect, mate. How long's that been going, and a bit of the background of how all that started?
Studio Protect itself has only been going a couple of years. We did a pretty big rebrand, but I started out roughly about the end of 2006, I think it was, start of 2007.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up buying a franchise.
Ooh.
And I helped a mate out doing some detailing work, and I thought, hey, this is good money. You get to work on some great cars, different locations, and it just happened to be that the Geelong franchise was up for sale. So
What was it? Can you tell us?
VIP car care,
Oh yeah.
so towing the black trailers around,
Yes.
and so that was
What was that like?
Mm.
Tell us about that season.
it was a really good start because back then I didn't really know, like, detailing as such didn't really exist. And I remember being in Queensland with my family, and we stayed with some family friends, and they had someone come and wash and clean their car. And I thought, wow, these guys must be wealthy. They got someone coming to wash their car. And anyway, didn't think about it. And then I quit a job cold turkey just before Christmas. I didn't have anything. It was just I'd need some time, and I helped out a mate doing some detailing work, and we worked at a four-wheel drive complex doing the launch of the Ford Ranger at the time, and did the launch of the Volkswagen EOS.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought, gee, this is all right actually. And anyway, cut a long story short, we bought the franchise and started from there. It's again, I didn't I didn't know a lot. I didn't have a lot of knowledge as such. Um, I'd washed cars since I was a grasshopper with Dad out on the front lawn every Sunday morning. So it was just a regular weekly routine for us. But quickly found out that there's a lot more involved. Did all the training and then just built it up from there. And then it got to a point where we may have expanded the franchise, got some franchisees underneath us, maybe get some staff. So we decided to take the staff option. And then it got to a point where I sort of wanted it to grow differently, but because of the restraints of trade and so forth, you've sort of got to toe the line a bit. And
VIP are mainly mobile, hey?
all mobile, yes.
And just
Yeah.
regular maintenance, full details.
Yep. Yeah, just going around to people's houses, businesses, just doing the regular thing.
How many trailers did you have?
Oh, we just had the one. So we had a master franchise, so we were able to expand it, but I didn't have the business brain to know how to do it. And then it got to a point where we wanted to go a different direction, but sort of weren't really allowed to. So we managed to get out of the franchise and we started our own business. And we started Car Detailing Geelong. So that was, I think, about 2013, 2014. And pretty well took one shirt off one night, put another shirt on the next day and went to work.
Yeah.
So, and then we were still mobile back then. We had a little Holden Combo buzz box.
Oh, yeah.
And we also then started getting into the ceramic coatings. They again, I had very little experience way back then, but then ceramic coatings started to come in. So then I found out that you sort of need more than a day to work on a car, and some people didn't have garages, so we then started bringing cars to our home, and it then grew quite quickly, and then quite quickly, and then it got to a point of maybe we look at getting a little factory. So one of our then clients had a factory that was small. It was only about 70 square meters, so you could fit about 2 cars in there. So we took the leap of that one, and then within about 3 months we outgrew that. And it took us probably about 12 months to try and find like the next step, which is where we are right now. So we've been in here for about 7.5, nearly 8 years, I think. But yeah, we did a rebrand about, I think it was about 3 years ago, and it was because we were doing so much ceramic coatings, and we started doing the PPF, the paint protection film. We wanted to move ourselves away from the basic general detailing. So we chose to rebrand to remove the detailing word out of our business name and then really focus on all the protection side of the cars, and just move away from when Mrs. Smith rings up and wants her back seat shampooed from the cat peeing on it, and just sort of move in a direction that we really, really wanted to focus on. So that's sort of a short version of where our story's been, and we'll see what happens in the next phase.
It's interesting with the name change because I'm sort of in that boat at the moment because you got that detailing word and it's sort of them sort of people that you don't really want to attract, but sometimes that work is handy. But yeah, I think long term that's protection, coatings, film. I think that's sort of where if you want your business to remain around that.
Absolutely. Well, we still do a little bit of detailing. All our existing clients, we're more than happy to help them out. And then there are some jobs that we still take on, but a lot of the more basic general stuff we've got a couple of other local detailers that we refer to. So we'd prefer to not just say no, we don't do it and leave it there. We'll refer to them to a couple of guys that we're competent with.
Yeah. With the franchise bit, was there any issues with were you on a contract, like a lease, and then if you broke that, you had to like pay out extra, or how did that like getting away from a franchisee work as well?
We did. We were on a. We had a. The way we were set up wasn't loose, but it was basically just a monthly figure, so it wasn't like a commission based. We locked into a 5-year term. By the end of that 5 years, we were sort of feeling like we were quite restricted in a lot that we could do. And it sort of got to a point where we weren't able to get the help that we wanted to be able to do the next step. And obviously with franchisees, there's a lot of restrictions of trade and what you can do, what you can't do. And part of ours was that if we got out, we weren't able to work in the same industry in the same area for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't really spoken about these publicly, so it's a bit of a first, but we went and got some legal advice, and the person said that because at the end of that 5 term, nothing had officially or on paper rolled over. So it was basically just let's just continue and we'll figure something out. And our legal representative basically said, look, if you can stick it out for 2 years, you can walk. So we did. So it didn't end the way we wanted it to, because back then I was very, very good friends with the master franchise person. But we felt unhelped, I think was probably the best way to put it. And we wanted to do a lot of things that weren't able to be done. We wanted to look at different products. We wanted to look at different ways of doing things, but we were just restricted in a lot of things. So we chose to sort of take the sit and wait attitude. And after that time period, we thought it's time to do our thing. So we in the last sort of few months, we then put a lot of what we wanted into place, so that at the end of whatever date that we set, whenever that came in, that we didn't then have to sort of sit around and wait. We could just, as I said, I came home on I think it was a Wednesday night. I took that jumper off. Thursday morning, I put that jumper on, jumped in the other car, and off I went.
Yeah.
So we sort of started afresh from most beginnings. We didn't really let it know publicly what we were doing. We didn't really let our clients know what we were doing, because obviously we couldn't, because they were still attached to the franchise system. So they ended up starting to contact us, and we sort of said, look, this is what we've ended up doing. And a lot of them ended up following us, to the point where some of those from 17, 18 years ago, I still look after some of their cars. So it's
that's good.
So yeah, it was a sticky situation, but it was one that got frustrating. It was just we just had to do something. We couldn't keep doing what we were doing.
So Brad, you kind of like had to disappear from the customers in a way, right? Because they belong to the VIP franchise. So they kind of had to come looking for you. You couldn't really be like, hey, I'm over here.
Pretty much.
Get yourself in some strife if you did that, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when you know you've done a good job, because they want you to do their car, you know. They don't really care about what business it is or whoever, as long as it's the same crew. I want them. So that's awesome.
That was a consistent thing that we heard was, well, we don't care who you work for or what you work for. We want you to do our cars. So when I didn't start rocking up to jobs, the phone then rang and say, you're not coming this morning. It's like, and then I filled them in on the story. So it sort of word spread quite quickly with what was going on, and then our new business then ramped up pretty quickly.
And it sounds a bit poor on your end to do it like that, but it wasn't, because you're literally doing it by the book. And
Yep.
if you had have done it another way, you could have got those customers in a real sticky spot, where
Absolutely.
they're thinking, mate, what are you doing? Like, you should have told me, and then it gets ugly, and then they just go to someone else because they just, don't want drama. So
Yep.
that's good.
Yeah. And I didn't want to do the wrong thing as such and really make a mess of the situation. So yeah, we chose to end a friendship with the franchise owner. But that's what I needed to do to move on. So I just didn't want any ongoing ramifications. It was like we just drew a line and just moved on.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. No, I don't think we've had anyone on that sort of started like that. Everyone started mobile and gone into a factory. But yeah, having a franchise, interesting place. So
Yeah,
good.
it was a good way to start for someone that didn't have a lot of skill, a lot of business knowledge.
Yep.
It it probably didn't start. Looking back, it started what I would call pretty poorly. Like there wasn't a lot of training, there wasn't a lot of knowledge. It was sort of like, here's the equipment, here's a little bit of training, see you later. So and that was sort of, looking back, that should have sort of been maybe a bit of a flag to say maybe this is not the right one. But anyway, it's in the past.
Be interesting to see how they operate nowadays, if it's any different or still the same. And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they still operate.
yeah,
I don't pay any attention to a lot of the franchise stuff, but I know there's been a couple of setups down here with that brand. Whether they're still going, I'm not sure.
no, interesting. Coatings. So what can you explain? What was your first coating brand, and how'd you go getting into that, and then maybe into the PPF side?
Yeah, I've been with CarPro for a very long time. I used a brand of coating which I can't remember. What might be Tough Seal. It was a two-part system back when I was in the franchise.
I remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Tough Seal. And
I don't think it was a ceramic coating too. It was like
it was more of I think it was a Teflon
it was
based
more,
or something.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
previous generation.
And I just I hated it. I thought, how do people do this stuff? And I've had a very long relationship with Waxit as well from the early days, and they were obviously the early stockists of CarPro, and I bought one or two of the early on. I think it was the Seacourse UK from memory, and we started to do a lot of those, and then they approached me to become a finest installer, so their flagship brand. And yeah, we started with them. So that would have been somewhere around the 2015-ish mark. And that they put like a good group together, and we had annual catch-ups and working groups together. And I'm still with CarPro to today. We use their flagships, their finest reserve, and their new D-Quartz coating. But I've also got a couple of other brands that we use when the need's there. So we have some people that ask for a graphene coating, for example. And while I'm not sold on it as better or worse than ceramic, we've got it as an additional product for those that ask it. So we're aligned with Angel Wax as well. So we've got their line of coatings, and we use a lot of their products as well.
So why do you do that?
Sorry.
So why do you do that? Like, why do you bother to get a graphene coating to give it to customers who are asking for it? Why do you think that's a good idea? I'm sure someone's probably asking that question.
Yeah, I don't like having too many options, because it not only confuses the client when you say, oh, we've got 8 different options, what do I choose? it sometimes confuses us because we always like to know how people use their cars. Do they live outside? Do they live near a beach? How do they look after it? But we've found that by having the graphene coating, while we don't really publicise it as much, having it there for the people that want a graphene coating, we've got it. And rather than potentially lose that client to someone else, having the two avenues basically covers all the bases. So it's not a huge seller. If we did say 20 coating jobs, one maybe two of them might be graphene.
Yeah.
But it's just handy having it there for those that just want the graphene coating.
They're just set.
Yeah.
I want graphene, give it to me.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that do their research and they'll come in and say, oh, I follow the CarPro brand, so we want to use the CarPro. But we also get the people that say, graphene's better, so I want that on my car. I'm not going to talk them out of it.
Yep.
I'm not sold on graphene being better. Yeah, whether it's equal or not, I'm still unsold, but we offer it for those that want it.
I think, like, at the end of the day too, when you're giving someone something that they've asked for, if crap ever hits the fan down the track, it's a much better situation, because if you try to convince them to get something else and against their wishes, right? And if something goes wrong with it, or it doesn't behave the way they're expecting, they'll come back and blame you because, well, you told me I should have got this, like, and put all the responsibility on you, even though they were the one that made the decision, and should have, like, compared the pair, like we do with insurances. Not affiliated at all, but it's a true point, right? Sorry if you get in trouble for that, Dale. But yeah, so what you're doing, I think like, some people could be like, oh, that's such a waste, like, or that's not how detailing should be, but that's from a business perspective. I like that idea, what you've done. That's good. But
absolutely.
So let's talk about PPF. We know you two. Oh, let's not talk about people.
Yeah.
No. But what got you into PPF? How did you transition over? Why did you think that was going to be a good decision?
To be really honest, I had a client pester me about it. It was never on the radar. I looked into it and I thought, oh, I don't really want to. I knew that it was tough, it was hard, it was expensive, and I had a high-end client that he bought a GT3 RS and said, I want you to wrap it. And I said, I don't do it. He said, well, I want you to do it. And I thought, crap. So I ended up, I rang a mate in Melbourne and said, you got to help me out. I got this car. He wants this done. So we ended up saying, okay. So he came down. I bought all the film, and he got all the film cut. I didn't really know what all this sort of stuff was back then, and we did it. I think it was a lava orange GT3 RS, and like, it blew me away watching him do this stuff. It's like, how the hell am I going to do it? Anyway, we finished the job, and I put it a couple of doors down. I put it in a secure car park out in the sun, and I walked past it and just thought, this stuff is insane. And I then, client picked the car up, loved it, and then I started to. I've got to do some research on this stuff. I've got to learn more, and it wasn't really in Geelong at that stage. I didn't really know anyone that did it. I hardly even knew anything about it, full stop. But word sort of very, very slowly started to spread, and like, I grabbed my wife's car and I put a bit on. I grabbed family cars and just put it on and just figured it out. And And then Maddie Lawrence actually walked in the door. Literally walked in the door. And I'd been researching what she did and the Flexi Shield brand. And normally cold callers and reps and that, we just say, hey, no, don't want to talk. But knowing who she was and what she did, I thought, ooh, this could be interesting. And I think about 2 hours later, she ended up leaving, and I was basically sold on PPF. So she had one of her, I think, reps with her back then that helped in Victoria. But so then I basically signed up for one of her courses, did her basic course, and really, really latched onto it.
So what year was this?
2018.
And are you still Geelong car detailing?
We were car detailing Geelong back then.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes, I did the basic course with Maddie, and then just practiced, and threw a shitload of money in the bin. But as I've found out and talked to everyone and listened to everyone, it's the only way you learn. So, and then speaking with my wife, we thought, bugger it, we're gonna do it properly. So we bought a plotter and threw lots of money away.
Just kept going.
Yeah, we sorry, what was the question?
What plotter did you get?
We bought a Graphtec, and it just happened to be Damon at Auto Attention was selling one. And again, I didn't really know a lot about them, and I knew he was doing a little bit of PPF. So contacted him, came to a deal, drove up there, brought it back. And I thought, far out, now I've got to learn how to drive this thing. And it then worked out that I got Maddie down for some one-on-one training. So she came down, we did a couple of days. She helped set up the plotter. We just did, I think it was 2 days from memory. And we just threw lots of film on a couple of different cars, set the plotter up, learned how to use it. And then pretty well from then, things sort of really, really ramped up. We started publicising it a lot, to the point where it started to not take over from coatings, but it got more and more popular. A lot of the work was sort of like your higher end stuff. The people that had the family car that were interested in it sort of were really shocked at the pricing. But the people that, they had the Porsches and they had the Mercedes, and money's not really a problem. It's like, I just want that done. So we started to put a lot more effort into it. And I've just done for a few years, I just did as much training as I could. I just signed up to a lot of courses. I sourced people to come down into our own workshop and do training. And I just found getting someone different each time, you pick up lots of little different things from different people. And while all of this was going on, Maddie had set up her Bushwarpz brand, and she mentioned it earlier on, and I said, "Oh, you're nuts," but fully supportive of everything. And when that begun, I thought, this is actually a pretty clever idea of hers, because it's bringing the entry point into PPF back, but it's also creating a market, because a lot of the cars that she aimed for, there was no templates for it. So she created that market, which then opened the door up to a new clientele for most people that started with Bushwarpz. So that sort of brought in a lot more work as well. So to the point now that PPF is probably 75% of the work that we do. 25% is probably coatings, and 5% is paint corrections and detailing and tidy ups and so forth. So we've changed brands a couple of times with the film. Um, Sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of a want of change. But we're in a nice sweet spot at the moment, and it's going along very very nicely.
No, it's interesting. Who you who you with now? What film you using now?
We use Suntech and we use CarPro.
Oh yeah.
So CarPro brought in or created their own brand of film a couple of years ago. We got we had
Immortal.
sorry,
Whenever you
Immortal.
say immortal, you gotta say it like a gaming way, like immortal.
Yeah, that's right. Uh,
And that's no rip on it, but it's just it's
yeah,
how I
yeah,
remember it. So it's a success.
yeah. But there's no kickboxers around here.
Yeah,
But
true.
but yeah, the first role that came into the country, it came down here and we played with it, and like I was blown away by the stuff. Like it is. I find it, personal opinion, it is so easy to use. It's got really good tack. It's got amazing stretch. The clarity is incredible. The texture's absolutely minimal. It's just a beautiful film to work with. Um, but we've also got Suntech and their core program, and that came from after Flexi Shield. We jumped onto Premium Shield because I wanted better access to templates. So we used Premium Shield for a couple of years, and then Eastman or Suntech's parent company brought out Premium Shield, and we chose to then move to Suntech.
And Premium Shield had really pretty good templates too. Hey, Premium Shield, I believe.
Premium had fantastic, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and that was the main reason of jumping on with them.
Mm.
But yeah, then the buyout happened, and there was some murky water around what was going to happen to Premium Shield, and we had a meeting with Suntech, and they put everything out on the table. We put everything out on the table, and we were really impressed with what was offered. So we moved across to them again, more so because of the template system, which I find is brilliant. It's just it's a great system. Um, and yeah, then CarPro brought in their system. They've got their own template system, and so between the two, we've got a huge coverage of the market in terms of what templates are available. So sometimes what's not available on one is available on the other, and vice versa. Um, so yeah, it's having the best of both worlds, to be honest.
So are you using Ultra or
Yes,
Reaction? Okay, cool.
yeah, I I used Reaction, and I put it on one of my regular clients' cars that I washed every week, and I just didn't see the benefit of it. Again, that's my personal opinion. I know there's a lot of people out there that swear by it and it's amazing, but I just found like the being infused with a ceramic coating on the outside. I think I got about 2 or 3 months out of it,
Yeah.
and it just I felt like it sort of let me down, and I thought for the price difference, it just wasn't really worth it. So I just use Ultra for everything. Um, and then we've also got some people again, they'll come in because of the CarPro link, and they want Immortal on their car, and it
And
sort of
from
depends
memory,
on. Sorry.
I used a roll of Immortal. I bought a roll when they brought it out, and it was very hydrophobic. I think from memory, it was like
Yeah,
incredibly hydrophobic. Hey, do you
yeah,
still coat your film? Like, do you still do that, or
yep,
have you ever done that?
yeah. We do a lot of, I guess, the hybrid packages where they might put a
Mm.
full front on and then they'll ceramic coat everything. So we ceramic over the film as well. It's not necessary, but it takes it to another level again. So we try and upsell that to get that little bit more
Protecting the
for the
protection.
client. Yeah, absolutely. So, and even if we do a full wrap on something, then we'll heavily discount the coating to then put a layer of coating over it. Just again, just for that extra protection.
Yeah. Do you find that from what I've heard, Suntech Ultra and Bushwarpz very similar?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that the film does come from the parent company, and that does help with the template system that we can use the Bushwarpz film with core software. So we can put a roll of we can buy the rolls of Bushwarpz Pro film, and if we might bugger up a door panel or something, well, we can go upstairs, we can print a new piece out on Bushwarpz film. There is that agreement in place. So having core availability to core is a huge plus for the Bushwarpz brand.
Yep. Oh, cool.
Did you ever use the previous version of their software before they released Core?
No. I
I can't remember
think.
what it was called now. I did. It was like Windows 98 style.
Oh
It was
wow.
yeah, it was good. It was actually really good, but yeah, it was so outdated, and I could see why XPEL had a massive upper hand with their DAP system, because
Yes.
I've never used the XPEL software, but I was always told how good it was. But then Core came out, and I don't think people realize how much money it takes to create a system or a software like this. Like, it is
Absolutely.
thousands, it's hundreds of thousands, I believe, to develop it, make it work well.
Yep.
So yeah, I think they kind of reinvented themselves, I think, with the core software. Hey,
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, I
oh,
think it's
True Cut, that's what it was called, True
True
Cut.
Cut. That's right.
Mm,
Yes, I had heard of that. But when the change from Premium Shield to Suntech came along, I think Core had only been out for a short time. Um, and then, yeah, it's again, I hadn't used TrueCut, but I found Core very easy to learn.
mm,
Um, we got approached by XPEL to become one of their dealers, but at the time we were comfortable with Core and Suntech, and it was sort of like uh, I'm very loyal with the brands that I carry, and I'm not someone that sort of swaps and changes. I don't follow, Mr. Popular over there. If he changes from this brand, well, I don't just follow because of him. So it takes something to go quite wrong for me to change a brand. So that's why I've been with CarPro for I don't know 12, 14 years or something. If it ain't broke, I don't need to fix it.
Mm.
So I'm happy with their coatings. I'm happy with their film. Same thing with Suntech. I'm happy with their film. I'm happy with their software. I don't sort of need to swap and change just for the sake of it.
No, that's good as well, especially with coding brands because we chop and change. And yeah,
Yep.
I haven't, but yeah, it's just if it's not broken. Yeah.
No.
So, employees. So you mentioned earlier, yeah, you've had some in your time, and you've obviously got a few still. So, how many
Yeah,
you got there now?
yeah. We've just got one full timer at the moment.
Yep.
Um, we've been employing for oh, probably about 12 years, I reckon. And it's probably only been the last 3 to 4 where we've sort of jumped to like a full-time employee. Um, it's since COVID, I've noticed like a huge change in trying to employ people. Like it's just,
Mm.
I don't know where everyone's gone because you, before COVID, we'd advertise for an employee, we'd get 50, 60, 70 applicants. Whereas now you advertise, you get 3 or 4. Um, it is so hard to employ today. Um, so we've got a full timer now. He does all our codings. He does all our corrections. He's learning film. Um, he's getting up to speed with all the Bushwarpz installs. Um, but I would like probably another half person, maybe another person. We've got some things that we're working on in the background. I won't talk about them on here, but we've got some things that we sort of want to put into place by the end of the year, more so to get some hours off me. I'm doing 80, 90 hours a week every week
Oh, wow.
without even trying. So I've really got to pull back my hours, and it's all on the tools work. I don't get a chance to help Tanya, my wife, do any of the admin. So she does all the admin, the quoting, uh, pretty well everything except the on the tools work. So I want to be able to sort of step back from the tools all the time and help her in the office and help like work on the business, grow the business. Whereas I have zero spare time. So um, I really need to sort of, this year is all about trying to put some things in place to sort of streamline the business a bit more, whereas it's not so reliant on myself. So if it's not a Bushwarpz job, I've got to do the whole thing because it's as most people are aware, you don't learn PPF in a couple of weeks. It takes probably a good 12 months to learn it. So when we've had staff and we've trained them, it's like you get to the point with your staff and they think, stuff this is just too hard, and then they're gone. Um, but we've had a couple that have really stuck at it. And Tom, who we've got now, is head down with it. He's thinking quite well with it. Um, but it's something that if you get a bit confident with, it'll bite you in the ass pretty bad. So he's had that a couple of times where I think his confidence has got a bit high, and then
We've all had that.
the next job has really bitten him, and it's been we've now got to rip most of that off and redo it. So yes, stuffing's hard. I'll be honest on that one. I would like more stuff, but it's just we're just going to sort of consolidate where we're at the moment and see where we go.
Definitely, like with staffing, and PPF, it's like there has to be a desire to do it well, not just mediocre.
Yep.
And you got to have a pretty strong will, I found, like when it comes to PPF, because it's so easy to give up. Like you get to that point where it's just not staying down. You got that valley and the film's just not sucking in, and you just like, I give up. Like I can't do this. This film is crap, or this bar is crap. Like it's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
And nothing's working. You've tried 10 different ways. Um, but like there is a way because someone else has done it. Like a lot of people have done it before you.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just you have that drive. And yeah, learning and like finding cars for people to learn on, and like being willing to make mistakes, because like we can all remove a high spot, but you can't exactly remove a cut in someone's car.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it is that a few extra layers of difficulty of learning and practicing.
Yep.
I know what we did. Because when I was training a guy, it was when the TESs were coming in quite heavy. Like the first wave of TESs, when all of a sudden they started not coming in, like that was like during COVID 2020.
Yep.
And I had a few customers who we've coded with TESs, and then I just said, hey, look, we'll do it half price because I'm training someone. It's not going to be perfect. And I'm still learning myself. So we'll do PPF. We're going to be charging half of our normal price, but just know it won't be perfect. Like there will be some things wrong with it. And this is the price. And we're just doing front ends. We weren't doing the whole wraps. But I was so interested to see how many people were like, yeah, use my car, go for it. And maybe because they weren't car people as well. Like a lot of Tesla owners aren't car people.
Yeah.
But that was a great way to kind of learn and get used to it and stuff like that. But it takes time, hey.
It takes a long time, and it's what I found with staff is some people have got it and some people don't in
Yeah.
terms of the ability to learn it, because it's such a mental game that at the end of the day, if you've been installing all day, you go home like feeling like
Yes.
you've done a couple of rounds in the boxing ring. So, but like what you said, in a lot of the first few years, I'd grab family members' cars. Where we're based with our business, there's a lot of car orientated businesses. So we'd go down and we'd grab a couple of cars from like the panel beaters down here, and we'd just put film on. Like we wouldn't charge it, but we'd put it on their bonnet and we'd put it on their front bar. And we just wanted cars to just learn on. So, and even now, like we'll still go down to the panel shop and we'll just grab a door or a bonnet that they've finished with and practice. Just practice. but it's also when staff have an issue, they can come to me and it can get rectified. Whereas when there's cars that I'm working on that I really, really struggle with, I don't have that someone that I can, hey, can you come over here and give me a hand? So I've got some great contacts in the industry that I can ring up. I can have a video call and we can talk about it. Um, but yeah, it's something that your attitude has to be to never stop learning, because there's always a different way to do it. There's always someone else that can say, hey, have you looked at it from this angle? Or films are changing. There's different gels. There's always something different. So you'll you'll never get to a point of I know it all, because the next day it's going to bite you on the ass pretty badly.
Yeah, especially having having Bushwarpz there, like with an employee, that would, like I always said, that's a great way to get in and learn PPF.
It's a fantastic way, actually. Yeah, especially their DIY kits.
Yep.
It's as basic as you can get. So that's how we sort of bring our staff in, as we bring in the Bushwarpz system, work on the prep side of things, work on the install of things, and then we upgrade to the pro kits. And then once the pro kits are sort of getting good, then we can sort of bring them on to the non-Bushwarpz jobs, the normal cars. So, but yeah, it's trying to have them involved as much as we can, but also they've still got to, I guess, keep doing all their other work as well as learn the film side of things. But it's also one of those things you've got to do it regularly to improve. It's not like you can sort of do one today and then do another one in a couple of weeks. You've just got to continuously do it to keep your mind into it.
Yep. I know the feeling. So what can you remember what a car you are struggling with or have struggled with? Like
well, I remember my very first Tesla, and we actually had it in here a couple of weeks ago. It was my first Tesla. It was my first full wrap, and I did the job, and it was like, wow, that took a long time. Anyway, it ended up coming straight back because the rear bar, a couple of little areas on the rear bar lifted, and I redid that rear bar 5 times again in the one day and night, and it was 11:30 at night, and I rang Maddie, because we used to sort of chat quite a lot back then of within PPF, and I knew she was awake because we were texting back and forth, and I rang her and I just said, I just can't do this anymore. I've had enough. I've done it, I think, 4 times at that stage, and I sent her all the photos, and she said, get off the phone, go home. So anyway, so I did, came in the next morning, and the rear bar just went on straight away. So I find that it's when you have a challenge, sometimes you've just got to down your tools, and I'll sometimes just go for a walk around the block, or I'll go down to one of the other businesses and just have a coffee with them, just to have a mind break.
Clear mind.
Yeah, you then come back into it with a fresh mind. You're not thinking about it, and it just goes boom, and it works. So it's like there's not one car as such that I struggle with, but sometimes, like a 300 series bonnet, we've done 30 of them or something like that. But we had one late last year where I did the bonnet, I think, 4 times because it just didn't work. My brain may not have been in gear or something, and there was just lots of little things that were going wrong. So it just backs up that fact that you can never get too cocky. You can't get too confident. Yeah. You've always got to approach each job with a fresh idea, and just I'm not a fast worker. I don't believe in just pushing work out. It's just I'll just work at a pace, and sometimes you've just got to rip it off, put it in the bin, and restart.
Mm. It's interesting because a lot of insight for people who are looking into it. That's for sure for PPF. So, and I can relate to some of them stories. So
I know a lot of people want to do it, but I think when they actually put a piece of film on a non-flat surface, they then realise what it's like. And we still have issues with people that say, "Oh, yeah, but it's just like putting a sticker on," and it's like. try and wrap a tennis ball or a basketball and don't have any excess film and don't have this and don't have that. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
And then when they see you sort of put it on a car, it's like, wow, that's not what I thought it was. So when they say they want a full wrap, and it's like, look, that's going to take me probably 7 or 8 days. So 7 or 8 days, what are you doing?
What's wrong with
So,
you?
but yeah, there's all the prep work, and yes, they're putting the film on, but then there's all the finishing off bits and the heat
Yes.
sealing that
Mm.
takes all that install time. It takes that same time again.
Yeah.
So when you do a full wrap on a car, it sometimes takes a whole day to do the heat sealing and the trimming and the checkovers, and sometimes you don't realize that yourself, and you think, oh, cool, no, I've only got one more panel to go, but then it takes you another day to finish it. So
Mm.
there's the convincing, or not convincing, but the passing the information on to the prospective clients about what's actually involved in this. And it's not like you can put a camera and show a full video, because you can't. Someone won't sit there for a whole day and watch a video. But the time lapse videos are good because it does show you how much is involved. But yeah, there's still, it's becoming more and more well known, but there's still a lot of unknowns about it to the people out there that they want it, but they don't realize how much it costs and how long it takes to do it.
Yeah.
I think a good point too is, Brad, like what takes you a week to do now could have taken you 2 weeks 3 years ago.
Well,
Like,
that's what it used to be. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's where like we need to think, okay, I can't be charging by the hour because I'm ripping myself off if I am, because I'm actually offering a greater convenience to these people because I can actually, like you said, you're not trying to bust things out fast, but you're naturally progressed to be faster than what you were,
Yep.
years ago, like we all do.
Yep.
And so it's like your value is the quality of workmanship. You don't have like a 3 mil edge gap, 4 mil edge gap. Like you're getting right in there to making it like amazing, near perfection. Which is what a lot of people want,
Yep.
but may not understand what it takes to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very honest, and sometimes probably too honest in what the client can expect, because we've had clients that walk in, they've had a black car or whatever, and they say, I just want it perfect. And it's like, perfect doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's trying to get people to understand that perfect isn't there on PPF. There are some people that can get mega close to it, but if a car's been driven, there's a chance that there's going to be some debris underneath the film.
Yes.
And there are some days that you can flush out and flush out and flush out and sometimes remove those trims, but you'll still get a couple of little grits of dust or something. So it's being upfront with the clients and saying, hey, you've got to expect that there may be a couple of pieces of dust under the car. There are sometimes faults in the paint that we can't address. So I would prefer to be upfront and honest and say, hey, I can't give you a perfect result. I can give you some contacts of some guys in Melbourne that will give you as close to perfect as result, but you're going to pay for it.
Yeah. And when people say they want perfect, I then ask like, okay, you want perfection, then what happens when you get a stone chip in the film?
Yeah.
Because some people go crazy, like I gotta start it all over again, rip it all
Yep.
off. It's like, well, this is why you got PPF to protect your paint,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so whenever they throw the P word out there, perfection, it's a little bit of a red flag because they're like, all right, let's come back down to earth. Let's
Correct.
talk about the realities of, of cars and how imperfect they are. You can't
Yep.
make something imperfect perfect with putting a film over it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
And
cool.
that's what, so to Tanya, my wife, she takes all the calls, and that's a perfect way that she lets people know is it's protecting your paintwork. So whether that's a Porsche or Ferrari where you want to protect the original paint for resale value, or you want to protect your Kia with the front bar and stone chips, it's protecting your paint. It's not replicating a painted surface, meaning there may be defects in there. It's removable for when that damage happens. So you drive up the highway every day for a year, you're going to get a lot of stone chips, and the film is going to take the brunt of all that damage. If you don't like it, in the visuals, we can take it off, we can put a new piece on. That's where the value is you don't have to then repaint half your car. You don't have to lose $100,000 on your Ferrari when you have a front bar painted. It's all about protection and not perfection. I know it's a bit of a corny thing to say, but that's a great way how Tanya portrays that across to a lot of people that don't understand what it actually is and what it's there for.
No, it's a great insight because, yeah, it's definitely trying to educate the customer and tell them what it is and even how it goes on. Like I bring people into my shop and go, this, are we doing one now? This is what we do. And they spin out. They can't believe it half the time. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Talking about your wife and dealing with customers, have you had, we always have this question here sometimes about the Karen. Do you ever have a hard customer to deal with?
Always.
Yep.
Yeah, always. And Tanya's been in like customer service most of her life. She is brilliant on the phone, hence why I do the work and she does all the front work. But she's also very what's the word? She's very good at dealing with those sorts of people. There will always be some that you just can't change their opinion or change their thought process, but she's very good at explaining things in simple terms. And she wins over a lot of people, especially females, because she can talk in a female sense. So when we do paint corrections and ceramic coatings, she brings it back to how women look after their skin and their nails. I think it's exfoliation, I think. So she uses paint correction as the exfoliation. And when we put ceramic coating on, she calls it, the putting your nail polish and your nail hardener on. So she's very good at explaining things to people in a way that they can understand rather than all the technical terms. So even a lot of males that ring up, it's like, oh, I'm speaking to a female. Oh, well, I want to speak to the business owner. She's like, well, you're talking to, that's me, and that's all you got. So she can be upfront but fair, but she can also explain what we do, whether it's the ceramic coatings or the film, in a way that someone that's got no knowledge can understand it. And it's probably one of her biggest assets, that whether she realizes it or not, she's very good at what she does. So and it actually started with her when our daughter was born nearly 14 years ago. I used to do everything, and I'd come home from work and start to ring people back at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we'd lose all the work. And then one morning we were laying in the front window just in the sun playing with our baby then, and she picked up my phone and said, "Righto, piss off, go to work. I'm going to do this." And I said, "Oh, we can't." And she says, "We can, go." She took the phone, and I said, "Hey, do you want to do some role players? I'll be a customer and teach you how." She says, "Go to work." So she self-taught herself all the terminology. She's more up to spec with four-wheel drives and all the types of snorkels and all the scrub bars or whatever they're called. And she'll come in and say, "Oh, are the scrub bars on this 79 series?" It's like, "What's a scrub bar?" And so she even teaches me stuff. So, but she's got great relationships with a lot of people in the industry, especially the Bushwarpz girls. She's on the phone to them a lot of the days, and she's refined our whole system around what works. So she'll talk it down, but she's the driver of this business, in that she's put it into this position. It's like she's the business owner, and I'm just an employee. That's almost what it looks like, but it works. And we've worked together for almost our whole relationship life, and it works, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
that's great. So these Karen customers, you've only talked about your wife so far, which has been great, but she's not the Karen.
No. We had we had one ripper, and it was like we knew the problem because he kept saying it, but
Yep.
it was a Tesla customer,
You know what?
and we did PPF on like all the front, and then we did ceramic coating on everything. And he was one of those that did all the research, and this is what I want. Yep, 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 we can do that. What products are you using? This is what we're using. What's the warranty? Yep, this is the warranty. So drop the car off. Yep, did the work. And then we got a phone call a couple of weeks later, and he said, "There's all these spots all over my car." Like, okay, so define the spots. He said, "Well, they're spots," and he was very terse. So he said, "Look, can you please bring it in, and we'll have a look, and we'll assess what we can do." So he brought it in the next day, and it had water spots all over it. So he said, "Okay, how do you wash your car?" And he said, "Well, I live on a very long dirt road and a very long dirt driveway. So when I get home, I squirt the hose all over it, and then I put the car away." And I said,
Perfect.
"Ah, so do you actually wash the car and dry it?" Or he said, "Why would I do that?" So anyway, it came out that he uses bore water from his property,
Oh yeah.
but he was so hooked up that it was the ceramic coating that was putting all these spots all over his car. So he said, "Well, how about we'll recoat your car for you? We'll remove all the spots. We'll recoat it. No charge." He says, "I don't want that on my car." So I said, "So what's your solution then?" He said, "Get rid of all the ceramic coating." So we did, except off where all the areas where the film was.
Oh.
So because you can't buff the film hard enough to get a ceramic coating off. So we did all the areas that didn't have the ceramic coating on, and then we did a water spot remover over the film, so there was no water spots on there because they were so fresh. And then we just put a sealant on the car, and then a week later we contacted him to say, "How's it all going?" He says, "Oh, without that bloody ceramic coating, just it's amazing." And anyway, I ended up seeing the car. It was not long after, and again, it just had all these water spots all over it. I thought, yep, he didn't listen. He didn't learn. And it's because we when we hand a car over, we give them a maintenance pack, and we talk through all the products, how to look after your car, how to wash it, how to dry it, the importance of all the factors. He then brought his wife in when we did that, and I then had to retell him all the how to so that she understood how to do it.
Yeah, he'd probably make her wash the car by the sounds of it.
The products were still in the boot of the car; they'd never been touched.
Makes sense.
And it's just like it doesn't matter how much you educate people that when they're in their little avenue and they know it all, sometimes you just got to, oh well,
Yeah.
cut that one loose.
Yeah. It can be someone else's problem down the track.
Yeah, it's like you try and help people and educate them and find solutions, but there are some people that just can't see it.
Mm.
So we don't have a lot of those clients. Majority will come in and they'll ask for advice. They'll buy some products and they'll go it, and then we get feedback, and it's like, oh, this is fantastic, and
yeah,
we're always here to try and help. Like, doesn't matter what it's all about. If it's something that we can't do, we'll try and find a solution or find someone to help. But yeah, I think no matter what industry you're in, you're always going to have someone that's a little bit left of field, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's good. So I believe we call those people, well, that gentleman a Kieran. You got your
Kieran.
Karens and you got your Kieran.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I do anyway.
No, it's always interesting to hear people's stories on certain customers that they have dramas with. So
yeah,
that's good.
Look, everyone's got them.
Yeah, yeah.
And kudos to you for handling that really well, Brad. Like you could have just said to this guy, mate, stuff you. Like it's a coating. This is what ceramic coatings do. You're the one that hasn't washed your damn car, mate. Like get lost. And then that would leave like a, he could go on a big rant, all that kind of stuff. But you've done everything he's asked. He thinks he's right, and so he can't really say anything bad about you because you've provided nothing but great service. So
Yeah.
you handled that really well. Sorry.
Yeah. As soon as we got that first phone call, like we knew what the
You just
situation
knew.
was, and it was how we were going to navigate to find
Yeah.
the solution was what the challenge was.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
No, it's good. Oh, well, I've got 5-stage questions here, Brad, and fairly basic. So,
Let's go.
can you remember your first ever detailing job? It's been a while.
It has been a long time. It started out, and it then progressed into a client that I had for up until probably about three years ago, and it was it started out as a full detail, and it's embarrassing when you think back to what I used to do and how much I used to charge and how much time you spent on it and the products you used, and it was like they really got a pretty bad deal. Because I ended up doing 2 full details in a day, and it's sort of like, buffing, putting a polish on. But back then, like I had 1 buff, 1 pad, and 1 paste thing. And I thought, oh well, you just put it on and you smear it and you wipe it off. That's obviously what you do. And yeah, I feel bad for probably the first 2 years worth of clients that was sort of what I did.
That's what everyone did, I think, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's all we knew.
Yeah, that's what we had.
I mean, most people in this industry are self-taught, and it's just trial and error. But yeah, that client, they loved the result, and it became like a 15, 16-year relationship that.
So what kind of car was it?
Oh, it was a BM X5. Yeah, it was an X5, BMW X5.
Wow, that's a good first car.
But well, he was successful back then, and he has become very successful these days. I think he's retired now, but he's someone that saw value in it, and I ended up doing the family's cars and the business's cars, and it just grew and grew and grew. So he obviously liked what I did, and
Yeah,
that's all that mattered.
Oh, cool. Do you have a dream car or something you always wanted?
You already own it?
Yeah, or already own it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the unrealistic expectations. Like I love what Koenigsegg does, but from a long time ago, I've been an Aston Martin fan, and I've worked on a lot of them. And I had a client give me his Aston Martin for a weekend, and after that, it's like I've got to have one of these days. And a few years ago, that dream became a reality. So, and it was through my wife. She was the one that said, because we'd found one, and we were watching it, and we were having a drink at home one Friday night, and she said, just ring him up and have a chat. And after the chat, it's like, wow, okay. And it went from there. So yeah, for a couple of years we've had one sitting under a cover, and it's just I don't get anywhere near as much time to enjoy it. That's the worst part. That I hardly get to enjoy it. So, but it's what drives me to keep going. That's probably the best part of having it, is when I'm here at 11 o'clock at night and I've had a really shitty day. Sometimes I'll go home and I'll just sit in it.
Yeah.
And it's just the hard work pays off.
Yep.
So it's as much as I'd love to use it more, it's just a case of that's the reward for all the hard work that we've done.
Yep. I think we all can relate to that one.
Mm.
Have these toys, but we don't have time to use them.
Yeah, yeah.
So, favorite detailing tool or a product?
When I was more on the sort of buffing side of things, I fell to love the ShineMate buffs. I've found that you can push them and push them and push them and push them and push them, and they just keep going. And for the price point that they're at, they're just an incredible tool. We've gone and got the full cordless system now, which we use probably 90% of the time. But that brand of tool is just value for money. It's fantastic. It just keeps going.
That's good.
Yeah, we've had a few of them. So, a tip for a detailer starting out?
Practice.
Yep.
And just never stop practicing. We've had quite a few come to us for advice about how to start. I reckon today would be a real challenge to start a detailing business. Through COVID, it almost became a very easy job or business to start up, and it was almost like it's like pubs. Like there was almost a detailer on every corner of every street, but everyone, like obviously they see what a lot of businesses do on social media, and it's like, oh, how do you get to work on the Ferraris, and how do you get to this, and how do you get to that? And it's sort of like you've got to work your way up the ladder. Like you've got to start in the beginning. You've got to work on the shitty old bombs and the nothing cars and work your way up, because the Ferrari owner is not going to contact you when they don't know who you are or what work you've done. So if you can speak to someone that's been doing it for a while, generally the people that have been doing it for a while, they're happy to offer advice, and we've given it to quite a few. We've turned a few away because we can see that they're not in it for the right reason. But if someone gave us a call and was genuine and was serious about, hey, I really want to have a go at this, we'll help them with what we can. And sometimes we've had them come in on a Saturday and we've shown them tools and this is how you use them. And even one or two, we've actually employed them to help them out. So it's don't be afraid to pick up the phone or email or go and speak to someone.
Yep.
That's good.
It's a good one. And interests outside of detailing?
Nothing.
Sitting in the Aston.
Yeah, whenever that happens. I'm just getting back into mountain bike riding.
Oh, good.
I used to do quite a lot, and I bought a new bike just before Christmas. I wouldn't say I had a breakdown, but I had back about August, September last year. I just pushed myself over the edge, and we had a holiday, and for the first couple of days, I don't remember the holiday because I was that burnt out, and my wife and I had some pretty honest talks, and it was got to find a hobby. And I got one of my best mates is into bikes, and he uses it as a mental thing, and it's like, yep. So I've now got the bike, and I can head out with my daughter, and we can go out on the bikes, and we can just have fun. I used to do a lot of motorsport. That was the outlet back then. I had to sort of stop that because costs were getting sort of a bit out of control and the business was getting more serious. So I'd love to get back into motorsport, but I don't have the funds to sort of do that sort of thing as much as I would. I love speed and that sort of thing. I'd get back into it for the fun, but motorsport would be nice. But yeah, the mountain bike for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen the other week you've done was it the 6 hour or something, or 12 hour?
12 hour. Yeah, I did the Bathurst
12
12 hour.
Yeah.
We did it a couple of times. In 2013, we got second in class. In the that was like the first year of when all the GT3 spec cars came. So instead of being an outright contender, we were a class contender. So we had a supercharged FPV GT. We're a factory supported team from Ford. And yeah, it probably would have been another step on the podium, but we had a power steering pump failure, which took out the belt, which took out everything. So we were in the pits for a while. We ended up getting going and we got second in class, which was a huge achievement with the team that we had. So that was the pinnacle, and I was happy with that. And then I did a few years of endurance racing after that with some mates, but then I needed to sort of focus on the business and family, and haven't been able to get back to it since.
Yeah, it's probably double the price now, or triple.
And some would say.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I still get to the track. I've got some clients that race, and they race sort of in some high levels. And we're on board with one of our clients that's going to be racing in the GT4 series this year. So we're going to go along to a few of those races and support him. And I still want to get the fuel running through the veins and the smells, and it's just nice being around there. And my daughter's, she's a bloody little rev head, so she comes with us, and like she's a Formula One nerd, and it's nice.
Year?
Sorry,
You going to the F1 this year?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Might see you there.
Yes. So yeah, well, we probably
Sorry,
won't.
Dale.
Sorry.
I said I might see you there. Then I said sorry, Dale, because I don't think
tried.
he's coming. Couldn't get it passed through Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice. Like with my daughter having such a passion for it, it's nice to. I can take her along, and she's interested, and she asks lots of questions. She loves sitting in cars, so it's nice to get back into it without having all the costs associated.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Oh man, might wrap it up, but it's been an awesome episode. So great insights for everyone out there. So
yeah, I mean, there's always lots more, but yeah, you never know. There might be another day where I'm back on here.
yeah,
Yep.
yep. So
But yeah,
Nah,
great
always.
talking to you guys.
no, always did. No, yeah, we caught up last year at the Bushwarpz conference. So
Yep,
that was good. So
absolutely.
all
Where
right,
can we find you
yeah,
before we finish up?
Yeah, well, Studio Protect, we've got the obviously the website, studioprotect.com.au. We're on all the socials, so Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, we're not huge techies down here, so we don't sort of just live on the phones and live on social media. But yeah, any questions that come through, we answer them straight away. But yeah,
Right.
here to reach out for anyone.
yeah. No, awesome, Brad. So all right, we'll go and hook into our days, I guess. So thanks
Sure.
again, and cheers,
Thanks,
Joe.
Brad.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks,
Really,
guys.
really good.
No always. Chat
Talk
soon.
soon.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.